Hey there, I'm going to show you the first step in making this stocking, and the first step is the magic loop, which is just a different way of knitting a narrow tube. You know, in the previously, or if you don't use a magic loop, you need to use double pointed needles, and I find the magic loop so much easier. So I'm not sure who invented the magic loop method, but they're my new best friend. They may be your new best friend after this. And before I forget, the pattern, the link to the pattern will be in the notes below if you're interested in that. If you're just here to learn the magic loop, that's good too. So instead of using double pointed needles, you're going to be using a circular needle. And I've just got a real chunky, I don't even know what this is, a 36, US 36, just thinking that it might be easier for you to see. And I'm just going to finish casting on. So I've got what, 4, 6, 14. Okay, I'll just do 2 more. 15, 16. All right. Got my cast on. You just get cast on like you normally do. And then I'm just going to split my stitches in half. So I've got 16 stitches, so I'm going to count off 8. So that's 2, 4, 6, 8. All right. And I'm just going to swing those stitches up to this front needle, making certain that I didn't really twist my work in the process. So I've got half on the front and half on the back. I've got my tail, which I use as my row marker. I know that when I get to my tail, I've gone around fully, a full loop, a full circle. And once again, this is my working yarn. So what you need to do is you need this needle. You're just going to be knitting in the round, but in order to use this needle, you need to free it up, get those stitches off, put those on the cord, and just bring it around, all right? And pick up your yarn and just knit that. Now don't make it too tight because you need a little give when it gets, because of the cord, it needs to get back on these big bulky needles. So leave that kind of loose. If you're using with smaller needles, then obviously you don't have to worry about that. And then, so I have just, with that first stitch, I've joined the 2 halves of my circle, all right? And I'm just going to keep knitting around. All right, and then when I get to this last stitch, I'm just going to turn the yarn, all right, straighten my cord out, and bring these stitches up to my needle. All right, so there we go. All right. So I've got my 8 on each needle again. I'm just hidden under there. I'm going to take the ones off the back needle, just hold them onto the cord and use the flexibility of the front needle. And I want the yarn on, for knitting, I want the yarn to be over top. All right, so I'm going to knit that. When I get to the end there, once again, I'm just going to turn it, put my needle down, put that front needle down, and pull those threads to the front, to the top, to the front needle. Did I say threads? Those stitches. And when you do them too tight, you do, especially when you're using big bulky needles like I'm doing. All right, this is actually the loop that's joined in. Here we go. Caught up there. Okay. So just one more time. So I know I've gone around one full time because here's my tail, my cast on tail. So I'm going to pull that off. put these up front and knit with my yarn. Make sure my yarn's over top of my needle. Once again, working with the big bulky needles with the smaller cord, using the smaller needle will definitely be a little easier. Big needles can be a little clunky. All right, then I'm going to turn. And pull those up. And I'll go around one more time. So I will have shown you 2 full circles. So my yarn's over top of my needle. All right, when I get done showing you the knit, I'm just going to go ahead and show you the purl, which is really the same concept, just where you put the, make sure you know where to put the yarn, how to hold the yarn. So I've just done 2 loops in knit of the magic loop, okay? And you can see it's forming a nice little circle there for a sock, stocking, hat. I guess you could use it for a hat. I don't know, to be honest with you. All right, so then for the purl, if you remember when we knit, we made sure that when we started, we made sure that our yarn was on top of our needle, right? To purl, it's just going to be the opposite. We're just going to keep our yarn underneath. So we'll just pull it up from the bottom. Okay? And you really only have to worry about that when you start each row, because once you get it started, it's there. So we'll turn it. We'll slide these stitches up. And the first couple rows are the hardest, just getting your gauge. Once you get started on this, it's really so easy. Okay, I'm going to slide these off. I'm going to make sure my yarn, because I'm purling, is underneath my needle. And there we go. And there is the magic of the magic loop. I know I'm back to I know I've done 3 rounds because there's my loop, my tail, my cast on tail. All right. So I will be back with another video showing if you need help with the heel on the stocking. But until then, happy knitting. Have a great day.